Hey, what's going on, fellas? Happy Monday, everyone. And today, gentlemen, we're gonna talk about something that we might stink a little bit, right, for you, but it needs to be said, all right? And we're gonna talk today about how bad do you want it, okay? Not just like kind of want it, or maybe it will be nice to have, but I mean, really, how bad do you want it? Are you willing to put in work? Are you willing to sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed to be disciplined and put the boring work day in and day out? All right. Because a lot of people, a lot of men says, I wish I can use that, I can lose that belly fat, I can lose this gut. Or I wish, I can be leaner, have more energy, get strong again, like in my 20s, especially for men over 35, feel proud of what I see in the mirror. But when it comes to putting work or just take action, take small, even little action, little steps towards the goal, a lot of men start backing up, you know, start justify, they start backing it up, they postpone. And this sparked me idea. So basically I'm running right now. Today I close the doors for my April 14-day free challenge. I call it 14-day free fit for summer challenge. And it's there's no scam, there's no catch, anything. It's totally free. Yeah, like I started today actually, I already fully closed the group for this challenge. And yeah, guys, we start. I usually love to do it a couple times. Again, I put a lot of work in these challenges. And yeah, it's totally free. There's no catch. All I genuinely want, we have about 80 days left before summer, and all I want to help is to genuinely to help you to lose 2 to 10 pounds of body fat, which a lot of my students, actually a lot of clients doing that during this challenge if you implement everything what I'm giving you. And genuinely I want you to build the momentum, right? Because like I said, we have about 3 months, 10 weeks before summer. And this challenge, especially in April, I do it a few times throughout the year, but especially in April, it can help you to build the momentum that you can just, implement and utilize and get in a good shape before summer or even continue, The summer is just the step one, but for a lot of men, I'll be that honest, sometimes summer, like on next 10 weeks, it's not even close to their final goal, even if they're gonna lose like about 10 to 20 pounds in the next 10 weeks. They still need to lose more. So, but again, it helps to build that momentum. And I have a lot of conversations. Some, followers ask me a bunch of questions. Sometimes I do some polls on my Instagram story. So they ask me questions about nutrition or like ask me anything. And I started really great conversations sometimes with my followers, and they open up with me and they say, hey Vlad, I need to lose. Sometimes I ask like, hey man, what's your goal for this year, for 2025? And they open up with me and say, hey, I need to lose, 20, 30, 40 pounds of fat. I have medical condition. I have really high visceral fat. I have high cholesterol. I have some heart condition because I've been overweight for so long, for years. And they say to me, and I genuinely, with this challenge, like, or any other way, like I'm trying to help, I really want to help. And when I offer them, they really struggle. Looks like they have a lot of struggle, right? So they have some heart conditions, or they don't have energy to play with their kids, or they're really ashamed to take the shirt off in front of their spouse, in front of their girlfriends, in front of their wives, or guys, the boyfriends. And it tricks me like because I'm offering right now and I reach out to those people. Like I reach out to over 100 people. So imagine I close the doors about 15 people. I put limit for I opened 15 spots for this challenge because it's a lot of work goes and I'm giving everyone personal touch. But I reached out to over 100 people. Like I said, I have a lot of conversations with followers. I have a lot of followers, and I say, hey man, I know this challenge can genuinely help you. You can lose easily, with this challenge right now, build momentum. You can lose 2 to 10 pounds of body fat, and they completely ignore it. And it just blows my mind, man. You have to lose 30 pounds of body fat. You're struggling, right? So you're really struggling. You have some medical conditions that even like you need to lose weight in order to continue living life, have no energy, or you're ashamed of your body, you cannot even look at the mirror at yourself. But when I offer a free help, and it genuinely, there's no catch, it's genuinely free challenge. Like seriously, if you want to continue working with me, basically I'm doing this challenge just to get the testimonial from you. That's what I get usually, because I know I can help you, and that's why people usually give me great testimonials. So that helps me. That's my outcome. And if you want to continue working with me, I'll be happy to help you more. But even if you can learn something within those 14 days and build momentum, I'll be happy as a dog. I'm telling you. And it blows my mind when I reach out to people and I say, hey, listen, there's free challenge and you can work with me and I can genuinely help you to build momentum and lose some fat. And they totally ignore it. So my question to you, how bad do you really want it, right? Because a lot of people say they want it, but how bad it is. Literally, I'm reach out to you with the free help. I can genuinely help you for free. I'm not even asking for anything in return yet. And you totally, about 90% of people who have reached out, like I said, I closed my challenge at 15 spots, but about another 90% people who have reached out, they literally ignored me. So let's be real, right? Let's be real, friends. I'm gonna break it down this masterclass today, today's live in couple pieces. So the first one, we're gonna start with why you're not progressing, right? I'm gonna give you four steps, four things why, uh, four answers why you're not progressing, right? Let's start there. And you might know already that, but I'm going to remind you right now about this. So number one, you're relying on motivation and not discipline. I talked about this before a million times, but motivation, I've done this mistake actually in my 20s a lot too. Motivation come and goes. It's flicking. Motivation's flicking. You can have the motivation like Monday morning, and by Tuesday afternoon, it's gone, man. So what are you gonna do after? Wait for another month or for another motivation, when it comes for another Monday? No, you gotta rely on discipline. So man, you gotta build the discipline. All right. Stop relying on motivation. Number two, you train hard, but you eat crap. All right. You eat sloppy. And this is also pure truth because I know that I even did the poll the other day, I think even yesterday, about, like what's your biggest struggle right now? And a lot of people said that, yeah, like, I eat sloppy, like I'm not paying attention to my nutrition. And you probably heard this quote before, but yeah, abs made on the kitchen, and you cannot outwork a bad diet. Seriously. So no matter how hard you train, oh, like Vlad, I go to the gym 3 times a week. Yeah, man, it's 3 hours out of the week. Even if you get some steps throughout the week, let's say it's 5, 6 hours you put in your work on workouts. But what about another 160 hours of the week that you're stuffing your face with food, like snacking at night, So all of that nutrition, no matter how hard you work out, you cannot outwork bad diet, man. All right. So nutrition is the key. That's it. You cannot outwork bad diet, period. All right. Number three, you're inconsistent as hell. All right. Because you'll be maybe motivated, like I said, for a few days and you fell off. Like maybe you're motivated for 1 week, you go to go, do something, and after that you fell off for next 2 weeks. Or maybe even good to do throughout the weekdays, right? For 5 days, you're good, good, good. And after that, you just completely mess up the progress on the weekend. I call it you taking two steps forward throughout the week, and you're taking 3 steps back on the weekend, right? So stop doing that, man. That's how you mess up your progress, because you're good, good, good by Friday, and after that, the drinking starts. Friday, Saturday, getting drink, even Sunday maybe, right? So eating whatever you want, and that's completely messes with your progress, man. By Monday, you just back to square one, or even you even lost the progress that you had before. And number four, you have no real accountability, right? You have no one keep you accountable. Let's be honest. Our brain always looking for a lazy way, and we always, as a human, we tend to escape from hard work. We're always, unless you're one in a million David Goggins, right? So the rest of the people always looking. He's chasing. That guy's chasing the hardship, every single day. And there's few people like him, of course. I'm not saying no one like him, but most of the people, majority is running away, right? It's running away from hard work, and you gotta understand that, man. So yeah, if I'm running away from hard work, I gotta find someone to keep myself accountable. Whether it's your loved ones, I know, make a bet with your friend. Ideally, of course, you want to hire a coach, that you can shortcut and have a guidance and a real game plan that will help you to speed up your progress, right? But you gotta keep yourself accountable or make the decision public. I'm gonna do 75 hard, or I'm gonna lose 10 pounds of fat in the next 8 weeks, and make it public, share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook so everyone knows it about this. So you have no real accountability, right? This is four things that usually stops people from seeing results. Okay. So let's talk now about, again, another big thing, ACL why. I always do this exercise with my community, with my clients. I call it find your why. I've talked about this multiple times before, but before we talk about solution, you gotta dig deep and need to ask yourself, like, why are you doing this, right? What is your why? Find your why, right? And I call it the stronger and the deeper why, the better and the faster results you'll see. All right. So find your why. So why are you doing this? Why are you trying to get leaner? Why are you trying to lose those 20 pounds of fat? Why you want to be stronger? It can be so many different reasons for that. Maybe you're tired of like getting on the second, third floor and be out of breath. Maybe you want to be example for your kids, for your loved ones, right? So and lead from the front for them because they look at you like you're not their superhero. Like daddy is not superhero. Like they look at someone on the screen, but it should be in their family that dad should be the number one superhero who they look up to, and not someone on the screen, some Thor or some Spider-Man, right? And you're not even close to that, or maybe you want to look great to have confidence, to maybe to get that girl or the guy who you're, have crush on it at the gym or like at work, and you never have confidence, to talk to them because you're just embarrassed of your body and you never can take the summer's coming up, right? It's going to be some pool parties or a beach day on the weekend, and you're going to be embarrassed and feel bad to take off your shirt because you didn't prepare, right? You don't have discipline to get yourself in shape. So ask yourself, ask yourself, why? Why do I really want to do this, right? Why I want to be in shape? Like I said, there's so many reasons. And the fuel, that's going to be a fuel. That why is going to be a reminder. I don't know, write it down on the sticky note. Seriously, put it on your damn laptop. I don't know, make it as on your screen on the phone, put it on your fridge, write down on your mirror your why. Seriously, make it on your vision board like I have in front of me right here on the right, but make that why visible for you every single day. Seriously, not only once in a while. A lot of people just have that, New Year resolution why, or they just remind themselves like once in freaking forever about their why, and that's why they fell off. Most people, by about 90%, fallen off by February, right? Because they forget about their why. So that's why you want to remind yourself, have it on your note. I don't know, put it on your forehead, tattoo it on yourself. I don't know, do your best, but have it, of course, you know, around you every single day. You want to reflect on your why. I see even people reflect on their whys or the goals 3 times a day. So start with once a day. Once in the morning takes 30 seconds, to look at your why and just really visualize. And whatever hard work is coming that way, whether they have to, go to the gym that you hate or work on your nutrition and be disciplined and do not just reach for the pizza or the donut at work, then that why is going to remind you all day long why you're doing this, right? It's going to keep you on track. So that is going to be your fuel. All right. Okay. Next one. And this is the big one. A lot of people also doing this. Stop comparing yourself. That's what, with all the social media nowadays, I feel like that's what happens. People compare themselves with this Instagram and all the AI, especially. Oh my God, now AI, it just got to another level. And when you even just make your own body in AI and you start comparing yourself to the jacked, like lean, handsome guy who, like, from 4.5 you just become through AI 9.3 and basically, yeah, like jacked, and the beard looks cooler and everything, and you're like, oh my God, how can I be that? So do not compare yourself. First of all, AI, it's all fake, right? So like do not compare yourself, of course, can make it you perfect, but also do not compare yourself to other people. That's what messes with a lot of people, starting your morning with social media and comparing yourself. Imagine you just drop all of that dopamine in your face, you're dropping the raising that cortisol level, and you're already feeling unmotivated from first second when you wake up, because you reach to your phone and check the Instagram, and of course something on your feed will pop up, something like, oh, this workout, this guy or this trainer will pop up, or this model will pop up, in your feed, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so far from this. And I want you to stop that. Seriously, stop comparing. It's good to look up to someone and never put anyone on pedestal. Seriously, never ever put any other man, little tip for you, on pedestal, right? So seriously, you should be that top G, all right, in your life. You should be example for your family. You should be example for your kids, all right? Never ever put anyone else, in front of you, okay? You the number one. You the one, okay? So stop comparing your chapter two. I always say to my clients, they get frustrated. I'm like, hey man, you've been doing this for a year, right? Before that, for the last 15 years, you've been overeating, you haven't taken care of your health, and now you're in your 40s or in your 50s, and you just started taking action, and it's great. It's freaking awesome. And we compare, like even like the last 3, 6, 9 month progress, and we zoom out and they see like, oh my God, actually, yeah, I've been seeing progress. But again, when they see someone else, and those people, that person in their chapter 20, and I'll say, do not compare your chapter 2 to someone's chapter 20. That person who you're looking and you like feel upset that I'm not like that, that person maybe been lifting for 20 years, right? Maybe they on steroids. There's so many guys out there nowadays, especially on Instagram, on TRT, 40 plus, man, like most of them who like really lean or really jacked, most of them, whether it's crazy blast genetics or TRT or steroids, not even a crazy amount. You're not gonna see them super big, like the stage bodybuilders, on the stage, but they look super lean. They like, had thickness in the muscle. And you're like, man, why I cannot get that? Because they own TRT, they own steroids, they take a bunch of stuff. There's several different ingredients, several different drugs. They do that to them. And listen, man, always, be careful with that, because you never know what those people going through, what downsides of that, and always check with the doctor, for any of that stuff. So I would highly suggest to anyone, stay clean and clear as long as possible, unless it's really like you're super low testosterone, that it's really impacts your everything, your sex mood, your energy, everything. Then maybe you have to reach out to professional, to doctor, and talk about some ways to increase your testosterone. Because for us as a man, testosterone is super important. But again, try to the best, first work natural as much as possible. Eat your sleep, a lot of people sleep like shit, like, getting 2, 3 hours of sleep. And I'm like, why am I not losing weight? Because you're not recovering. Like, what do you think? Or nutrition is not on point, or workouts, you're not doing progressive reload. So start there, start with foundations, and you can do so much with those things, all right, before reaching out to any drug. So, like I said, stop comparing your chapter 2 to someone's chapter 20, okay? Stop looking at those shredded people and feeling like a failure, okay? You're not behind, you just early, right? You just getting started. You just started taking off your body, and you should be proud of yourself, all right? So stop comparing and stop overthinking or overestimate, what you can do in 1 year, and underestimate what you can do in next 5, 10, 15 years if you're going to continue in this space, okay? That's what most people do. So stay in your lane and build your foundation, okay? I'm going to say this: stay in your lane and build your foundation, okay? Because it's always going to be the grass greener on the other side. All right. All right. So next one, let's talk about data, right? So again, it's a big one also. I'll make this simple. What gets measured? One of my favorite quotes that I'm trying to use to my best ability every single day in every aspect of my life. What gets measured gets managed, right? And that's what most people lack. And they never track their food, they never track their workouts, they never see how many steps they're getting. And this is basically all the biohacks, all the data for your health. Same with the money. If you have no idea how much you make a month, how much you spend, how you know that you're in profit, you can save up something. You have no idea, right? Exactly. So know your numbers in every aspect of your life. Like you want to be rich, you got to know your numbers. A lot of people who doesn't even make crazy amount, but they know exactly how much they spend and they're able to save 30-40% of their income. They're much more rich than those people who makes millions and they spend millions without knowing, and they pretty much in negative every month, live from paycheck to paycheck. Same here. Know your numbers. What gets measured get managed. And it blows my mind again to people like, oh my God, I have time to track my food. I have time to see what steps I'm getting. I'm like, are you serious? This is your life, this is your health. And you're telling me you cannot find, invest like $50, $100 in some Apple Watch. They get pretty affordable nowadays. There's so many options for trackers. Or you cannot invest 5 minutes of your time daily just to track your food, right? It takes 5 minutes, 5 minutes, to log in a couple things, and exactly like how much you ate. If you know how much you burn, how much you ate, boom, this is your like caloric deficit, and that's how you can get in the best shape of your life. So stop overcomplicating, but start measuring. All right. So don't be lazy and get the data. What gets measured gets managed. All right. And here's, my friends, I'm going to wrap up this with the five. I got the last thing for you, 5 real world strategies for you how to stay on track. All right. So number 1, decide with you. So decide who you want to be. Okay. So number 1 is you need to decide who you want to be. All right. Because it's, again, the progress is not about your final destination, right? So same with the progress, or the final destination. So basically, it's not about, let's give example about money, right? So if you're trying to be rich, it's not about money. If you're always chasing the money, you'll never be rich. So you got to chase the person. You're going to chase the person who can pull that off, right? Who can make that money. So, and success, it's not about the final destination, right? It's not about that money at the end, but it's all about in every area of your life, right? It's a health, wealth, it's not about final destination, but it's about who you become throughout the journey. I really love this quote, right? So success is not about what you get at the end, but it's all about who you become throughout the journey. So I want you to start with deciding who you want to be. All right, decide, So not just how you want to look. It's not about like how you want to look, but decide who you want to be, that man on the other side, what discipline you have, like how you're leading from the front, focus on discipline, focus on building small daily habits. And when you start dialing those in, success will come. The same with money, if you start doing, right things and focusing on the rituals, morning rituals, daily things, tracking your numbers, you'll become successful or you'll become rich. But if you just chase the money without having structure in your day, without knowing the numbers, you'll never get there. You'll always be like that donkey with a carrot in front of you. You just chase the money, but you'll never reach. All right. So start focusing not just how you look, but who you want to become, right? Look at that man who has that confidence, who had that everyday routine, who goes through hardship on a daily basis, who knows what he puts in their body. Instead of being lazy and watching Netflix for 3 hours, you know that you're going to go for a walk, become that man, okay? So look at that, who you want to become. Right, number 2 is master your morning. Again, you probably heard this quote before, but win the morning, win the day. Okay. Start with a big W in the morning. So it's all stack up in little things, stacks up throughout the day. So when you wake up without hitting snooze, boom, first win. When you take a cold shower, next win. When you drink 30 ounces of water, your next win. And all those little things, seriously, it's not about like one crazy thing you do in a day that you go on like 10-mile run and you kill yourself for the next week, you're sore. No. It's all about little things that you do day in and day out. That's how successful and healthy you become. All right. Did you get your cold shower in the morning, a cold plunge? Did you drink water? Did you focus on protein today? Okay. So win the morning, win the day. Okay. Review your goals daily. And that's how, my friend, you'll be successful, get result. Okay. Number 3, simplify your nutrition. Seriously. hit your protein, right? Focus, of course, calculate what's your caloric deficit, know your numbers, track your food. Like I said, what gets measured gets managed. So hit your protein, eat real food, stop chasing perfect, but do not overcomplicate it. So many people looking for some perfect diet, for some quick fix, perfect diet. Seriously, stop it. Hit your protein. We all know that protein is super important to keep you full, to build muscle. There's so many, process in your body. Again, don't neglect carbohydrates and fat, but hit your protein, eat real food, whole food most of the time. You can leave maybe 20% for something that you're really craving, for some sweet tooth, and stop chasing perfect. Okay. Rotate, even eat the same thing. Simplicity is the key always. I rotate like pretty much two, three or four, the same meals over and over. There's like maybe one ingredient changes. It's always 3 or 4 ingredients, 2 or 3 meals, eat the same, and it's super simple. It's basic. And you can always spice it up with like a couple different ingredients, but it's pretty much the same. Okay. So conveniency beats complexity every time. Okay. One more time. Convenience beats complexity every single time. All right. Next one. Find real accountability. All right. Keep yourself, like I said, accountable to someone, to something, make it public, hire the coach. You got to keep yourself accountable and redirect yourself on a daily basis. Have a sticky note, like I said, put it in your screen that reminds yourself about your daily goal and have someone to report to. I have 2 different coaches in my life. Fitness coach, even if I've been fitness for 10 years, I still have fitness coach in my life who helps me to build new skills and keep me accountable, and also business coach, right? So I'm always asking them for some questions, and always ask questions. Seriously, ask questions. Be that, uh, how that's the word. Yeah, that's what happens when you're not from US, you still have that. Sometimes you forget some words in English. Be curious. Here we go. Be curious. Always have questions, man. Right? Allowing my clients asking me questions. So be always curious as a kid. All right. And number five, measure progress, not perfection. Seriously. It's not about one perfect day, but it's about 7 days doing 5 minutes of something every day, little wins every day instead of having one perfect day. So stop chasing. Don't be obsessed with the scale, right? But track your habits. All right. Stop chasing perfection one day, but start focusing on small daily wins, small daily habits that will bring you success on the long run. Okay. So that's where your progress will be. That's where transformation will come from, the small daily habits, not from one perfect day or like from one, exhausting workout. No, it's all about doing a little something every day and sticking to it. Just be patient. All right, friends. So ask yourself again, how bad do you want it? Okay. By reflecting on everything I said today, finding your why, implementing the tips, like I said, the 5 pretty much foundationals that will help you to get your results. Looking back on those, 4 things that stops you from seeing your progress, reflect on those. You can always come back and rewatch this video. And yeah, stop chasing or stop comparing yourself to others. Stay in your lane, build your foundation, and ask yourself, how bad do you want it? All right. So because the game, let's be honest, the game does not change, but it's all about your intention. It's all about your execution. When you start putting the daily work, daily grunt, everything will change. All right. How you do everything. So I love that quote, is how you do anything is how you do everything. Okay. So also start thinking that way. How you do is anything is how you do everything. All right. So friends, I hope that sparked some ideas for you how to flip the switch right now and finally really take action. All right. That's it, friends, for today. I hope that was helpful for you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, protein.